Hey, what's up, Crown Nation? Welcome to Rock the Crown. It's your girl, Naima, and my queen, Nafisa. And we have our girl, Nefertari. She's going to show up on the scene a little bit later. But today is all about the money, solutions and ways to managing your money. And we have our special guest, Nardin Jihad.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, family. Man, well, thank you, Naima. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Rock the crown.
Yay! Okay, rock the crown. So we're going to bring Nefertari onto the stage as well. So, Nardin, we want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll come in later and ask you a couple of questions because we know that you are the money management guru. So take it away. Talk to us.
Man, first and foremost, all praises due to God, all praises due to Allah, allow us really to just be on this show. I don't take lightly or take for granted, when it's a request of this magnitude, because I looked at some of the things in which you guys are doing and amazing work that you guys are putting forward. I'm telling you that this show is going to be, literally is on the rise, and I can't wait, not just a year from now, but 20 years from now, what they say about the sisters that put together this thing, right?
Okay, I love that.
So, yeah, absolutely. So to be on here, again, I don't take like it for granted or what have you. But, my name is Nardin Jihad. I am in the financial service industry. And, one of the things that, I really focus on is been in a position and helping people understand how money works. Naima and Nefertari, Nafisa, that's the biggest thing that we're taught so many things in school, so many things by, parents and so many things by grandparents, so forth and so on. But a lot of things we're not necessarily taught. And these things that we're not taught, it really makes a big difference. So today, my job is just deliver and add so much value to those that's taking the time out to either look at this thing live or look at the replay. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you either save your money now so your money can save you later, or you're in a position where you're dependent on other people to give you a quality of life. And I know, right? If they ain't treating you right now, you can only imagine how it's going to be later on in life, right? So that's my
I never thought about
today,
it like
man.
that.
I'll just go and value. That's it. Absolutely. So, and as I mentioned, in the financial service industry, really been in this industry for about 13 years now. Our whole goal and objective really is to expose our community, right, to the financial service industry. I am licensed, a licensed investment broker, as well as in the insurance industry as well. So those are the things that we bring to the table. So not just a lot of philosophies and what you could do, how you could do it, but actually give clients and give individuals tools with the license that we have to put them in a position to win for their family. Because I can go over concepts all day, Naima, right? But concepts alone don't win the ball game. Concepts don't win championships. It's just strategies. But one of the things I really pride as far as what we do and the ability to really give to your audience is that we can help them put it in place, right? So I'm here to serve today. So I'm definitely looking forward to go over some of the information and then kind of, answer whatever questions you guys have and add as much value to this amazing show.
All right. Well, let's get started. Money management. Tell us what money actually is.
So the great thing when it comes to when most people think about money, right? And I really take it back really to just really understand the statistics. But before I go over kind of like the painstaking, the people, nobody want to hear about budget. Nobody want to hear about you need to cut out Netflix and, cut out, all these things that's really sucking your bank account dry, right? What I'll do is I really go over, the reason why, right? And I'll give an example. I'll give a couple of examples. Unfortunately, the sharing ability is not there. But what I'll do is I'll go over it and I'll paint a visual for you guys as well as for the audience. And then we'll talk about like what money can do. Because the first thing is you got to understand money is a tool. It can work for you or work against you. That's the very first thing. It can work for you, work against you. And one of the things that I'm gonna go over first is understand that one of the tools you have with money is either a lot of it, right? Everybody smiling, said a lot of it, right? Or you have a lot of time. Those are the two things that you gotta have a lot of. I can't start budgeting. I can't start saving. I can't start saving if I don't have a lot of time. Right? So I got to have a lot of time.
Not sure what's happening.
Illusion. All right, we there? Did y'all lose me? I'm here.
Yes, you're
Okay.
here.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
I can
Perfect. All
hear you
right. Sorry
now.
about that. Okay.
That's
Cool.
okay. We got
So
you.
all right. So what we'll do is I'm gonna give you an example. Everybody want to have $1 million, right? Like if people say, man, I want to have $1 million when I retire. I want to be in a position, where I'm not dependent on anybody, so forth and so on. So what I want individuals to understand, let's go over a lot of time, right? Most people have a 10-year-old or know somebody that's 10 years old right now, right? Now, if you wanted to accumulate $1 million by the age of 65, think about this, right, Naima and Nefertiti and Nafisa, like you have to save literally a 10-year-old. If you said put $20 a month, right? Which is 66 cents a day. All right. Everybody had an ability to do that. 10 years old, you knew you asked, $20, you could probably, get somebody, your parents, somebody probably giving you $20, right? So $20 at age 10, and that's $240 a year at age 10. By 65 years old, you'll have $1 million in an account, right? Let me take it a step further because oftentimes the earlier you start investing, the cheaper or lower you have to invest, right? Or lower you have to save. Let's go to a person and say, I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do with money. I'm not going to learn about it. I'm going to ignore my parents. They told me to save, but I ain't going to think about it, right? I'm going to wait till I'm 30 years old to start saving at 60 cent a day, right? I'm not going to do it at 10. I'm wait till I'm 30, right? Now look, 66 cent is going to it's going to turn into $6.35 a day. You may say, well, that's small. Anybody at 30 years old could do it, but they got to first have the information, right? So that's literally $193 a month. Now, Naima, now Nefertiti, y'all know the average person, 30 years old, you can probably set aside the necessary resources, $6. That's a Starbucks coffee.
Right.
That's it ain't a movie no more. It's just 2 gallons of gas, right? But look, right? But it's you can set aside that amount, right? So that's $193 a month, which is a total of $2,317 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But then look at this, you guys. If a person wait until they're 50 years old, right, to start saving to accumulate this $1 million, let's assume they're on zero. They have nothing saved, haven't put anything away. Now, at age 50, you will have to save $73 a day. All right. So we
Mm.
go from 66 cents to now $73, which is $2,235 a month. All right.
Right.
$2,235 a month, which put that person in a position at age 65 to have $1 million. But look, that's the importance of what I'll talk about in reference to budgets. Because most of the time, when you think about investing and saving, it do take a level of discipline, right? I
Right.
can talk all day about disregarding all the stuff that's not necessarily serving you right now or delayed gratification. But the reality of it is, if you don't have a vision of why you need to save this, you'll wait and look up like we all done, and we say, man, time is flying. My youngest child is 16 years old. It's like seemed like yesterday, like she was just,
Right.
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 He's 16. So time is flying. And the best indication of that is your children. If you have some, you can look at their age and look how, they're getting a little bit more mature, talking back a tad bit more, right? So now that's one of the things that when it comes to saving money, you got to have a vision. So if you want $1 million, if you say, Nardin, I want to have $1 million and I'm at age 50, right? That means I got to save
Mhm.
$2,235 a month. Then we attack the budget, right? Then we got to attack the budget, and we also got to make a strong level of discipline to still achieve it. I don't think it's too late. It's only too late if you think it's too late. All right. If you think it's too late, then it's too late, right? Whatever you
Okay.
say, that's
Okay.
what it is. All right. But if you don't think it's too late, 50, 55 years old, you don't think it's too late, yes, you're going to have to again save. But that's 10 years. That's, in essence, if you started at 50, that's 15 years of level of discipline to have $1 million in an account. So therefore, at 65, you're in a position to not just live a life of freedom, but you're able to bless those that's gonna come to you anyway, right? So that's in regards to making your money grow. And that's one of the things we specialize in. As I'm about to get to the budget, I wanted to go over that first. All right. Because I don't
Okay.
want to poke them with needles and tell them they need to start saving. And then you don't have, I want $1,000,000. Okay, Nardin, I can start listening to you. All right. So everybody got that. So if you at 10 years old right now listening to this podcast, check this out. Tell mama, tell Umi, tell that B, you need $20 a month. Do a chore. I don't know if they still pay for chores now, but whatever that is, don't go
I
buy
love
Roblox,
it.
don't go buy all them, video games. $20 a day done right, you'll have $1,000,000 at 65. Now, if you in the audience right now, you 30 years old or 35 years old, well, you gotta go ahead and come on. It's $345 a month. You need to save
Right.
literally about $11 a day. And if you 55, man, it ain't too late. You just got to get on it fast. $156 a month, $156 in essence a day. I know it sounds a lot, but if you put your mind to it, you can make it happen. Now let's go to the budget. All right.
The
Y'all let
budget.
me know if
No
y'all
one
with
wants
me.
to hear about a budget.
Mm-mm. And
Oh,
most
but
people
we know
aren't
we
taught
need it. We
about
need it.
budgets either. That,
Huh?
like when you're in school, they're not like, oh, you know what, you need
Yeah,
to allocate your funds this way, this way. They just, all they teach you really is about the economy on a bigger scale. And so oftentimes people are like, they don't really think about it, because when you start talking about millions and trillions of dollars and you're a young person, that goes over your head. So as you're spending money, you're not thinking about, yeah, I need to save this, I need to be on a budget, all of that stuff.
Yeah, and
hmm
that's one of the great tragedy when it comes to money, right? Is that we don't learn about it early enough. And typically we're not learning it from institutions that's supposed to teach us. And if you think about why we don't know, is people in scenarios that benefit off of our lack of knowledge. And I think
exactly.
when it comes to just financial literacy, that's something that, of course, especially during this pandemic, it has allowed people to do independent studying, with the extra time that they have, to realize that the information you need is actually right in front of you. See, the graph I was going over, somebody probably right now is on their calculator and they're typing the number in that I just said, 66 cents a day. Okay. And that 66 cent times however many years at 10, 55 years, assuming that person was 10 years old, Nardine, that's not $1,000,000. Well, the equation you missing out in, and this is what we miss in school, is understanding a very important money principle, which is called the rule of 72. See, if you're
Right.
taking your money and putting it in the bank and you trying to do my calculations, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win a money game putting that dollar that we talked about at 66 cents inside your mattress, inside the shoebox at home. Because the dollar today, you guys, is not gonna spend the same way 20 years from now. Y'all see?
Right.
Right.
So what we're talking
hmm
about is making sure your money is properly invested. Okay. So we're obviously talking about having a professional portfolio. And I think the great thing in which we provide, for those individuals, obviously that can want to interested in growing their money, we provide those tools, right? And again, I'll give you those that information later in a show. But I think don't do it on regular calculation. You know what I mean? So never tell you, if they on right now doing 66 cent times the amount of years, they're not gonna win the game. So one of the things I would challenge people to do, because I'm not gonna tell you it, I'm gonna just give you the instruction and you go Google it yourself. Google the rule of 72. All right.
Right.
And then ask yourself after you look at that rule, when was the last time a teacher, I don't even want to say a teacher because it ain't the teacher. I speak to so many teachers that they got to go by the curriculum. There's a lot of red tape in education. So I'm not going to even say
That's
teachers,
true.
but just think about when it comes to, certain questions about maybe credit cards or maybe interest rates you're getting. When the last time we had that information? Who taught us about rates of return? And when you read the rule of 72, you're probably gonna call Naeem and Nefertiti ASAP and say, hold on, I gotta get this information, what I need to do. All right. So going to create a budget. All right. This is how a budget is broken down, and this is the way in which you should break it down. Okay. 50% of what you currently live on, 50% should go to your living essentials. What are your living essentials? Rent or mortgage, insurance, food, transportation, utilities. I'm going to say that again because sometimes certain things that I just mentioned, that's not even in the needs, but that has to be in the needs. Okay.
Right.
Of course, you know you got to have a roof over your head, right? We don't got to debate that. We don't got to argue about that.
Right.
Now, insurance is something people don't put in a needs category, but it has to be in a needs category because that's how you replace if you're no longer here and providing your family a level of a standard of living that they're not financially devastated. So that has to be in a needs category. And sometimes it doesn't go in there, unfortunately, especially in the community in which we're in. Now
Right.
we talk about food. Obviously, that's essential. Nobody, we in Ramadan right now. Nobody ain't going a crazy amount of time without eating. You know what I mean? So we
Right.
already know that that's not happening at all, right? So then
Right.
the next thing is you think about savings, right? And well, you think about wants, right? So now with wants, in essence, 30% of what you have coming in should go to wants, not 50%. Y'all see that? Not 70%. So my people on here that's kind of trying to jump off the podcast now, jump off the thing. No, don't jump off now, right? 30% should not go, no more than 30% has to go towards your wants. What is wants? Flexible spending for items that you want to buy, but you don't necessarily need. Y'all got me? I see
Yeah.
Rock the Crown. I see
The
he
Amazon,
jabbing
the
out there.
Amazon stuff.
That Amazon Prime, you know what I mean? Maybe I need to get both sets of hijabs or maybe both sets of those. Maybe I need to get a couple. No, see, those are wants. You can get it, you guys, but keep it within that 30%. All right. So you got to break your income down, keep it within the 30%. But the most important part, and this is the part where when you think about budgets, usually when people hear budgets, they think about expenses. Oh, I got to pay this. I got to worry about that. That's the first thing that come to mind. I would challenge the listeners that's on today is when you think about budgets, think about this last category. 20% of what you bring in should go towards paying yourself first. Okay. 20% should go towards savings. All right. Now, financial goals like paying off debt reduction, savings, and investments. Now, 20% of your income. So, whatever you make on a monthly basis, you guys, right now, write it on a sheet of paper. All right. Now, I want you to break it down in those categories. Okay. 50% of that number got to go towards living, 30% of that category got to go towards wants, 20% of that category got to go towards savings. And if your wants, right, when you pull out your budget and you look at your monthly spending, if your wants is more than 30%, either you got to have the discipline now to make those adjustments, or later in life you will have to be forced to make those adjustments, but it will be too late. All right. So that's the breakdown that's the breakdown of how your budget should be spread out. Now I'm not confused, and I understand obviously in the an environment we in, and it's extremely hard, especially the obligations that a lot of people have, right? And you may say, well,
Right.
Nardine, I really got to put a lot more money towards my needs, right? 80% is going towards needs. I'm already not really giving myself wants, and I'm definitely not savings. I do understand that. But what I would challenge you to do, right, is start to create the habit. All right. See, the habit itself, we don't say, okay, I'm gonna, give to the masjid or give to the community, or, I'm gonna wait till I have a bunch of money to give, right? Every Friday, right? Every Ramadan, we give something. We never in the right financial position, but we give something, right? So that's the
Right.
same thing when it comes to those savings, is you have to at least do something towards yourself. Maybe it's $1 today, maybe it's $20, but I challenge you to do something, because again, it creates that habit, if that makes sense. All right. Now I'm going.
Right.
I leave some room in reference to some questions, you guys. So I'm flowing, man. I'm loving it. Hopefully, I'm adding some
I
value.
know. You see, you in your zone. You
That's
in your
I'm in my
zone. I
zone, boy.
see you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it.
Well,
Cool.
Nardine,
So,
one thing that I wanted to talk to you about or ask or whatever, because I'm a tax attorney. So I'm listening as you talking.
mm-hmm,
I didn't hear
mm-hmm,
taxes come up in there. And
mm-hmm,
taxes are a big chunk. So I'm
absolutely.
listening, but I think the income that you're starting from is your net income, not your gross,
Absolutely.
right? When you're doing those percentages,
Yep,
you're talking
absolutely.
about after the taxes have already been taken out. So that's
Absolutely.
something I think people need to keep in mind too, because when people think, oh, I make $100,000 a year, so 50% of that, or and then 30% or
No.
whatever. No, you need to say, okay, if your salary is 100,
Yep.
then how much of that is taxes? Okay, you need to
Absolutely.
take 30% off the bat for
Absolutely.
taxes, maybe even 40% when you're
Absolutely.
talking about all types of taxes, not just
Absolutely.
income tax, but property tax, sales
Property
tax, and
tax.
all that. So I just want people to know that tax is a part of the equation, and that
Absolutely.
he's referencing your net income after you've
Absolutely.
already paid your taxes when you talk about those percentages.
Absolutely. Hey, Sister Nafisa, that's a great reminder because oftentimes you will forget and think that no, you have to pay taxes. Okay. Like you have to make sure that you're doing that. And also a great reminder in regards to, yes, we're talking 100% net, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
gross, it has to be, you have to make sure you take care of those obligations. But on the net, you got to, of course, make sure you put yourself in a position because they're going to get yours. You got to make sure you get yours as well, if that makes sense. But great,
Right.
great input. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, yeah.
So Nardine, you and I get to see each other a little bit more often, sharing stories on in the financial industry. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, one of the things that we do like to talk to people about is building that financial house. And so looking at those different things from the ground, building from the ground up, making sure that you have a sturdy foundation and building all the way up. I'd like for you to kind of talk about some of those things. Because the question is for someone that has the question is, do you need an emergency fund? When we talk about saving money, we definitely you need to be able to save and invest, but you also need to be able to have that money set to the side that you consider strictly that emergency fund, so that you don't have to go into the savings and you don't have to go into touching some other things. So if you can kind of talk about some of those.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Neftari, for that question. I think because with anything, you guys, the financial house is no different than the house in which you live in, right? If you live in a current house you're currently in, and let's say you was watching them build the house first, right? If you walked in the process or started the process with them and just was taking, obviously taking a view of what they were doing, if they started putting the roof on before they laid the foundation, you would think they were insane, right? They would say, man, there's no way I would not, you probably pull out that contract. You definitely want to try to buy that house because also if that house is sitting on a cracked foundation, that's one of the things that you like, oh no, absolutely. I don't care how beautiful the house is. I don't care how the windows look, right, sis? I don't care $300,000, amenities in that house. But when that cracked foundation is messed up, you turn the other way. And that's the same thing when it comes to the financial house. Most people are thinking about the places they're traveling this year, the things in which they're gonna be buying, the vacations they're gonna be on, right? Now, those are dreams and goals. And sometimes when you think of dreams, you think about something that's far-fetched. That's not necessarily the case. It's something that really you're delaying to make sure everything else is in place to come back, delay gratification, right? So when we think about building a financial house, for everybody that's on listening, the foundation of any financial house is income protection. All right. Income protection, i.e., life insurance. And the reason I call it income protection and not, in essence, life insurance is because at the end of the day, you are the most important person that comes into your household. Not the car, right? Not that nice dress. No, you are the most important person that comes into the household. Why? Because you represent income, right? You represent income. So when that income stops, those that's dependent on that income will either be made whole because you obviously put the stuff in place, or they will be left financially devastated. And I don't want to get into too depth about that, right? But we understand that that's a lack when it comes to that, especially in the communities in which we live in, because again, it don't really go under that needs category. For most people, it goes under that I'll get to it when I get to it, and when it's too late, I wish I had it category. You see what I'm saying? So that, but the foundation is income replacement, right? So to make sure that income, if you don't reach the rest of the bricks on the house, the family can still achieve what you were going to do anyway, if that makes sense. Okay. The next part of that foundation, or next part of the layer of that house, is called budgets, emergency funds, and wills. And I can stay all day on wills. I can stay all day on emergency funds, sis. Y'all know, right? Is that it's not, planning, unfortunately, it happens when it's too late. People don't plan to fail. Y'all heard the tagline all the time. They simply fail to plan, right? Will is a very important part of a person, things in which they want to have happen, how things should go. We ain't spending years in probate based upon just something wasn't in place. We're delaying gratification for that, right? So we want to make sure that in regards to the budget. Y'all can hear me good? Y'all still can't hear me?
No.
No.
We kind of sort of got some of that toward
So,
the last few seconds, but it's breaking up a lot. Go
okay,
ahead.
cool.
That's better.
So the budgets itself is something we already talked about. But Nefertiti, you said the emergency fund. The emergency fund is so important because most people, when they're saving for retirement, they literally just saving in their 401k or 403b at work, right? And then when they have that emergency, they got to go into that 401k or that 403b and they get penalized, right? They get in taxes. We say have an emergency fund. Emergency fund should have about 6 months of your income. So if you did not get a check from your current employer or from your business, you still comfortable or got a net about 6 months to figure it out, right? So that's the emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund could operate in two ways. An emergency fund could go in your savings. I wouldn't suggest it. I would not suggest you have an emergency account attached to your savings because savings and checking have a certain type of relationship, right? And they usually look like to, touch each other every now and then, right?
Right.
We don't want that to happen at all, right?
Right.
So one of the things I would suggest is having a money market account. That money market account, again, some banks still do it. Again, if you can see it and transfer it, don't have it. You need to have an outside money market account. That money market account will keep you disciplined. It comes out regardless, just like bill would. You just have it automatically drafted into that money market account and let that thing build up. That's one of the quickest ways to create savings is a money market account that you cannot see and it don't require you to put money in it. It's automatic withdrawal from your account and put in. And then the next thing is retirement, right? I talked about that a second ago in reference to saving your money. That's the next layer. Then a layer after that is college savings for kids. College savings for kids, you guys, do not go in front of retirement. I know y'all love the kids. I know y'all when the kids don't have no loans or anything like that. But college savings is after your retirement, meaning you make sure your retirement money is saved. And once you do that completely, then you have room to start saving for kids' college. And then the last thing is other dreams and goals. So those are all of the layers when you think about a financial house. You got the insurance or income protection, budget, emergency funds and wills, retirement, college savings, and then other dreams and goals.
And Nardin, just one other thing I want to mention that's also on that house is paying off debt. That's one of the things we don't really think about so much. Absolutely. So definitely paying off debt, prior to that retirement.
Absolutely. And in some cases, it's better to even pay down that debt based on the rate they charge you in amount of interest based upon what you would get in a retirement, because then you can free up money. We do something called a debt stacking program that, you hear a lot of the financial gurus talk about it, nothing unique to our brokerage, but is, you pay off that debt and it frees up more money and then puts you in position again to save a lot more. So absolutely, great reminder.
So Nardin, for people, I think that sometimes when people think about money, like when people are thinking about their annual income, and if let's just say it's underneath the poverty line, people they want to feel like, hey, can I do this even though I don't make that much money? What do you suggest for them, especially for young people starting out when maybe they're deciding maybe not to go to college or they're doing just things on the side? How can they still follow a plan and a budget and still find this specific way that you're speaking about and be successful?
So again, I'm a little biased towards a couple different ways, and I'll kind of again say that because I'm upfront with it. Is not jobs being an issue, right? So it's not jobs itself, but it's the way jobs are set up, right? And what I mean by that is that inflation, as we seen, especially with gas, it just overnight you at $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon, even $6 in certain states, right? And when that inflation hit, the income didn't adjust. The income didn't, we didn't have an income adjustment or inflation with like the bosses, the jobs, the corporations. They didn't come and say, okay, since gas is up this here, obviously we're gonna go ahead and increase your income too. So again, I'm not bashing a job. I think for certain scenarios is necessary and needed. But what I'm also open until I had a conversation with is this is the time where really the great migration when it comes to being an entrepreneur. This is a
Yes.
time bigger than ever, especially during the pandemic when people were sitting at home or just coming up other creative ways. Some millionaires was created during this pandemic. It's just
Yeah.
understanding their value. What I would tell that young person that maybe can't, barely getting by off of the salary they're getting at, maybe not even a McDonald's, maybe even a working at a hotel or something of that nature, is that what you got to do is you got to tap into your unique gift, because I believe everybody have a unique gift. When you're working at a corporation or a job, you learn, and if you don't have a unique gift, you learn where you're working and you see what's the shortage or what needs to be fulfilled. And if you don't know anything about entrepreneurship, this is how you direct yourself on what you should do, right? You
Mm.
find and you think about people's most pressing problems. You think about yours and the demographic you're in. You think about your parents and the demographic they in. And if you're a little older and you got kids, you think about the demographic and the problems that you find out what are their most pressing problems. All right.
Right.
And then when you find their most pressing problems, you come up with a solution to help
Solution.
solve it.
Mm. I love
Money
that.
flows. Money flows to the people, to the businesses that help solve people's most pressing problems. All right.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's what I would tell a person, because I'll be honest, as you just mentioned, 70% of millennials are currently living paycheck to paycheck,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And if you still stuck in a cycle where you think, well, I don't need to make an adjustment, everything adjusts. You got an iPhone, guess what? It don't have a button no more. Why? Because it adjusted, right? You got, the way you drive cars now. Obviously, most people, you got Teslas coming around with just like they're adjusting. We as humans, we as workers, we as income providers, we have to adjust, and that's one of the things I talk about, especially with entrepreneurship. Is just make an adjustment. It's not building a big business, but make a small adjustment to add some additional income.
Right.
I love
Right.
that. I love
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that. Hmm.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Wanted to say anything, Nafisa?
No, no, I was just saying, that's fantastic because I was going to ask him about entrepreneurs and small businesses and the distinction and maybe the difference in advice that you give them. Of course, you still have that same advice, probably like saving and stuff like that, but it's just maybe a little bit different when you talk about strategies and how to do that. So that
Yeah,
was good.
absolutely. I think if we're talking to a business owner, right, especially a small business owner, of course, dealing in an investment avenue and investment industry, is small businesses, they have advantages. And one of the things that make it more attractive for people to stay and to retain more employees, right, is having a benefit package that you find at corporate jobs. And benefit packages could be as simple as a 401k. You have a person that works for you for a significant amount of time in your small business, but 30 years they look up, they haven't accumulated anything for retirement. You see? So it's about being
Right.
in a position to go really the extra mile in a small business, especially for the loyal workers that's working right with you to help build that, right? So my conversation with business owners again is packages you can put together, right? And that's some of the things again we specialize in, of making
Hmm.
sure you have certain benefits set for your employees. Because again, in this day and time where they trying to, get people to stay at their job, don't go, no, hold on, I'm gonna pay you a bonus. We never seen that, Five Guys paying bonuses now. Like, wow, this is
Right.
amazing, right? But you
Everybody
gotta
want to
have
pay
some
your college education now.
come on now, come on. So it's like having those benefits. I think that's something that can help small businesses, as well as them themselves, understanding that it's an expert is typically an owner, which is you, a secretary, which is you, right? A person that pick up the mail, which is you, and you doing a bunch of different jobs. Guess what?
Right.
That energy you currently have today, it is an expiration date behind it. It's an
Hmm.
expiration
Right.
date behind it. So we got to move accordingly. So what that means is putting the right tools in place that when you do get tired, because you will, when you do
Right.
get sick, you will, when you do want to go on vacation and spend time with that family that sacrificed for you to help build that business, that you have the things and tools in place to be able to step away and don't worry about will the business stand, if that makes sense.
Right.
I love
Mm.
that. I love that.
Yeah, that was
So,
great.
That's great. So Nardine, I know that you have so many other additional jewels that you want to share, but we want to keep people hanging on the seat of their pants. So can you share with us your information? So if anyone wants to contact you, and because we know that we're all fasting and it's getting close to break fast time, and we
Right.
so thank you because we know that you're getting ready to, engage upon serving where you're at. But if you can give us your information, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I want to thank you all for the work that you guys are currently doing and really investing. I wouldn't say sacrificing. I think you're investing. Sometimes we confuse the two, right? We're investing for the future because the future,
Mhm.
again, will help us continue to grow and last way long after we leave. So may Allah continue to bless the work that you guys are doing. And I'll definitely wouldn't hesitate to jump on. I appreciate for you guys having me. My information, I'll actually give my direct number out, my direct line, which is my office. I actually give my office line out. It's 404-344-0007. Again, that's 404-344-0007. And that's extension 123. All right. So it's something so simple. 123 extension, right? But that's my office line. And then you can always catch me via email. And my email again is njihad. So actually you can catch me njihad at primerica.com. All right. So njihad at primerica.com. So NJIHAD at primerica.com. So that's my brokerage. So you guys can catch me there. But again, I'm definitely excited to whatever you guys need
Nardine,
in the near future.
go ahead and spell Primerica.
Oh yeah, you have to break it up, right? So Primerica. Primerica. All right.
All right, I put all of that in the comments, so hopefully people will be reaching out to you. I know that there was a sister specifically looking for a money manager, and I was like, "Oh yeah, why don't you watch our show and you can get the information?" So hopefully she got the information that she needed. But again, thank you so much, and again,
Absolutely.
we want to remind everybody
Let me
too.
leave this real quick with you, Amy.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh, no. Let me leave
Mhm.
this with you real quick because I obviously, whenever we talk, we do want to give and not necessarily just talk, right? So what we do is if you reach out to me and via my office or via email, right? Just put, of course, crown in the subject, right? And what I'll do is I do complimentary financial needs analysis. So the sister you was mentioning that obviously was having that conversation is we obviously put that in there. I know it come from the show, and we'll make sure obviously that they're taking care of with a completely much money you need to save for retirement. It goes over everything, and you don't have to pay me a fee to get that done either. Okay, so there's no financial obligation from you or anything of that nature,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. All right.
All right. So that's a put crown in the subject when you email, and you will do a complimentary assessment.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Okay, thank you so much. So we want to remind everybody to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram. And again, this was another episode of Rock the Crown, and we will see you all next week. Thank you again, Nardine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
You're
so
welcome. You guys have
much.
Peace
Welcome.
out,
Peace.
everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
a wonderful day.